Hola amigas y amigos y bienvenidos a esta lección sobre pronombres de objeto directo. That's right, my friends. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about direct object pronouns. And as you can probably already tell by this ridiculous title, we are going to talk a little bit about some technicality, like some technical language today in this lesson. We're going to delve a little bit into some English grammar just to help you better understand what's happening in Spanish. But at the end of the day, what I really want you to remember is that we're just learning today. We're going to learn how to say the words me, you, him, her, it, us, them, and we're going to learn how to do that in Spanish. So that is our goal, is just to learn how to say those words in the end. So don't become too overwhelmed with the technicalities here. This is how I was taught language and how I understand it, but remember our goal is just me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. So let's dive in. First, I want to start talking about this term sujeto y objeto directo, a subject versus a direct object. And again, this is just some technical language because I will throw these words around a little bit. So, what is the subject? Now, when I ask this question to students, I always get the same answer. It's what the sentence is about. Well, to some extent, I guess that is kind of true. But for our purposes, that's not incredibly useful. That's great for a writing class. But for us, we need to know that the subject is the thing doing the action. It is who or whatever is doing the action in the sentence. And then the thing that acts upon is called the object. So if I hit the ball, I is the subject, the ball is the object, the direct object. I acted upon the ball. Here we can see illustrated that on the left side here, let me get my little guy out of the way. Boy kisses puppy, whereas on the other side, puppy kisses boy. Our subject and direct object switched between those two. The boy is the subject in the first one, he's doing the kissing, and the puppy is being kissed. On the other side, on the right side, the puppy kisses the boy. Now the puppy is doing the action, so the puppy is the subject, and boy is the object. And yes, I have taken the word the out of there just to simplify this. I wanted to focus on who was doing the kissing here. That's who your subject is. And then who is being kissed? That's your direct object. So let's take a moment to see if you are grasping this. Number one, I want you to tell me what is the direct object in these sentences. So number one, the inquisitive little kitty tackled the ball of yarn. So first of all, what is the subject? Who is doing the action here? Who is doing the tackling? Hopefully you figured out that it is the kitty, the inquisitive little kitty. And then the kitty tackled what? The ball of yarn. So that's your direct object. Number two, my sister and I love our cousins. Who's doing the loving here? My sister and I, that's the subject. And who do we love? The cousins. Cousins then is our object. All right, number three. Why aren't you helping your grandmother with the groceries? So who is doing the helping here? Or who isn't doing the helping, I guess, according to this sentence? That'd be you is the subject. And then who are you helping or what are you helping? Hopefully you're saying grandmother, and that makes grandmother our direct object. Ball, cousins, grandmother. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, we know what a direct object is now, we've just done that, but now we are going to learn how to replace the direct object with a pronoun, which is getting us one step closer to switching over into Spanish. So the inquisitive little kitty tackled the ball of yarn. We said that the ball of yarn was our direct object. Well, let's replace it now with a pronoun. The inquisitive little kitty tackled it. We've gotten rid of the ball of yarn and replaced it with a pronoun. That's what we're going to learn to do in Spanish today. Let's do number two. My sister and I love our cousins. Well, we agreed that our cousins was the direct object. We're going to replace it with a pronoun. My sister and I love them. Again, we are going to learn to do this in Spanish today. Number 3, why aren't you helping your grandmother with the groceries? Let's replace the direct object grandmother with her. Why aren't you helping her with the groceries? Again, this is what we are doing in Spanish today. So let's get started on the Spanish bit now. Here you have listed your pronombres de objeto directo. So first one, this is how you say me. This is not the first time we've seen these. These should look pretty similar to something we've seen last semester. In fact, this lesson is why I taught reflexives last semester, because it's going to be a very handy little transition for us to go into these direct object pronouns. So let's say he helps me. Me is the object, so we've learned to say that me is me. He helps you. You is the object, and in Spanish that is te. He helps him is lo. He helps her, la. Or he helps you, depending on if you are a girl, and this is the formal you. He helps you, depends on if you're a boy or a girl. If he helps you and you're a dude, it's lo, but if you're a girl, it's la. He helps us. Us is the object, so us is nos. He helps y'all. Again, this is the informal plural, and it's only used in Spain, os. And then he helps them, or he helps you all. If they are all boys, or you all are all boys, it's los. If they are all girls, or you all are all girls, it's las. Or if it's a mix, it is los. We default to the masculine there. Okay, so hopefully you have those written down. If not, go ahead and pause this and get those written down. You will need these. They're very important. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So before we've talked about reflexives before, and remember, a reflexive is any action that someone does to themselves. And we saw that labeled really clearly with the se on the end of the verb. Lavar, se. Bañar, se. Cepillar, se. And then when we conjugated it, that came out front. We're going to get back to that in a moment. What I want you to see is that what we have been doing in our last unit with those reflexives, those also are direct objects. Just so happened that the direct object was the same person as the subject. That's what made it reflexive. So, I bathed me. So, that is a direct object because I am doing the action and I am receiving the action. Now, there's non-reflexive on the other side. I bathe my puppy. Now, notice this is not reflexive, but it is still a direct object. Okay, so here we have where these pronouns that you just wrote down, where they're going to go. Now, yo lavo la ropa, I wash the clothes. We're going to replace the word la ropa with which of those words you wrote down? It's la, it is written on the screen here. I know you can see that, I'm an idiot. But now look where it goes. Look where that pronoun lives. Yo la lavo. I wash it. In Spanish, clothing is singular, not plural. Yo necesito lavar la ropa. Okay, so check this out. Look where our pronoun la is living now. We got rid of la ropa and replaced it with the word for it, la. Now we've got yo la necesito lavar. Or yo necesito lavarla. Just like we learned in our last unit, these pronouns follow that same rule. If the verb is conjugated, it goes in front of the conjugated verb, like we see it illustrated on the top of number 2 there. If it is unconjugated, we can put it after and attached to the infinitive, like we see illustrated in the bottom of number 2 there. Yo necesito lavarla. This is not a new rule for us. We are just applying it to a new set of pronouns, which are not that different from what we learned before with the reflexives. So let's try this out. We want to get rid of el pelo, and we want to replace it with which word? How are we going to say it in Spanish? Look at your notes that you wrote down. Hopefully you're saying by now, lo is what we should replace el pelo with. That's how we're going to say it. And then where is the word lo going to live? I'm seeing cepillo is conjugated, so I'm going to put it in front of the conjugated verb. Yo lo cepillo. I brush it. Number 2, ellos bañan las mascotas. They bathe the pets. We're going to get rid of the direct object, las mascotas, and replace it with what word for them? They bathe them? Hopefully you're saying las. That's what should be written in your notes in the third plural, and it's feminine. So where are we going to put that? Well, I see that bañan is conjugated, so I'm going to put it out front. Ellos las bañan. They, them bathe, if we were to translate it directly. Number 3, tú tienes que comer la cena. Our direct object there is la cena. You have to eat dinner. We're getting rid of dinner. You have to eat it. Now, we're going to replace the word dinner with what word? Hopefully I'm hearing la. And then that word la can go before the conjugated verb tienes, or it can go after and attached to comer, because comer is not conjugated. So 2 options here. Tú tienes que comerla. Check that out. I've put it after and attached to the infinitive. Or tú la tienes que comer in front of the conjugated verb. You, when you author your own sentences, get to choose where you put it. So let's review what we've talked about in this video. Subjects are the doers of action, while direct objects are the receivers of actions. We can replace direct objects with the following pronouns: me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, las. Very similar to what we learned with reflexives. Notice it's just the third person there that's different, so not a whole lot of new stuff here to memorize, y'all. Number 3, reflexive pronouns are types of direct object pronouns, so we already know how to deal with them. We know that reflexive and direct object pronouns, we're on number 4 now, they go before conjugated verbs or after and attached to infinitives. So in the bottom example, you can have yo los quiero ayudar or yo quiero ayudarlos. I want to help them. Gracias por su atención durante esta lección sobre los pronombres de objeto directo. Hasta la próxima. Chao.